Imagine a player so violent that fans and officials literally wanted him banned from the NFL. People asked why this guy was still allowed to play. Clearly, something was wrong with Vontaze Burfict. Hits like those could have ended my whole career. He nearly killed Antonio Brown on this play. Vontaze Burfict needs to be kicked out of the NFL for good. From illegal hits that ruined lives to suspensions that cost him entire seasons of play, Vontaze Burfict became the most feared and most hated player in the game of football. How did one linebacker get so dangerous that the NFL had to make an example of him? Vontaze Burfict's childhood was anything but easy. His father was in prison, and as a teen, his best friend was fatally stabbed by gang members. People say Vontaze was a quiet, soft-spoken kid who kept to himself. But when he stepped onto a football field, a switch flipped. Something darker took control. He played at Centennial High School, where the legend of Vontaze Burfict began, for better or for worse. Other parents frequently came up to his mom and begged her to tell her son to stop hitting their kids so hard. This is when the dirty reputation truly started. Centennial played a game against Mater Dei, featuring their star quarterback, Matt Barkley. Yes, the same Matt Barkley who went on to play at USC and in the NFL. During that matchup, Burfict dove at Barkley's knee trying to injure him. Later, the quarterback publicly called him a dirty player. By the end of his senior year, Burfict was a 5-star recruit and the #1 ranked inside linebacker in the country. He verbally committed to play for USC, but on signing day, he flipped his commitment to Arizona State. As soon as Vontaze arrived on campus, he made an immediate impact. As a true freshman in 2009, he recorded 69 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 Pac-10 Defensive Freshman of the Year. In 2010, his sophomore year, he went nuclear. 90 total tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and Pac-10 Defensive MVP. After that season, Burfict was projected as a top 10 pick whenever he decided to enter the draft. But by this point, the line between playing physical and being out of control was getting very blurry. Take the 2010 Oregon State game. After a play ended, Burfict just walked up to their quarterback and head-butted him. No play happening, no reason at all. Just a straight head-butt to the quarterback, which drew a personal foul. That was the final straw for head coach Dennis Erickson, because by that point in the season, Burfict was racking up personal fouls in basically every single game. Even though Vontaze was his best player, he had to bench him the next week. By the end of his college career, Burfict had 22 personal fouls in just 37 games. 22. That is 1 personal foul for every other game he played. Then came his junior year, where the wheels completely fell off. The prospect projected as a top 10 pick in the upcoming draft suddenly looked nothing like it. His stats dropped off a cliff, just 69 tackles and 5 sacks. And get this, 3 of those 5 sacks came in the opener against UC Davis, an FCS team. Heading into the 2012 Combine, Burfict was in damage control mode. He had to wow scouts and look like a franchise linebacker. He needed to prove 2011 was a fluke. Instead, he had what some call the most disastrous combine performance in NFL history. He ran a 5.09 40-yard dash. That was the slowest 40 of any linebacker at the combine that year. To put that into perspective, a 346-pound defensive tackle named Dontari Poe ran faster than him. His vertical was 30 inches. His broad jump was the worst of any linebacker at the event. He didn't even run the 20-yard shuttle. Then news leaked that he failed his drug test. When draft day rolled around, Burfict, who was a projected top 10 pick just a year earlier, went completely undrafted. 4 days later, the Bengals signed him as an undrafted free agent. Here is the thing about being undrafted: you have got nothing left to lose. Burfict came into Cincinnati like a man trying to prove every team that passed on him was wrong. I don't know about you guys, but every year I ask my mom what she wants for Mother's Day, and she says she does not need anything. And I am like, Mom, I am obviously getting you something. So I usually default to flowers, but they die within a week, which sucks. That brings me to today's sponsor, Aura Frames, a gift that actually lasts a long time. It is a digital photo frame, but it does not look like a gadget. It looks like actual home decor. And here is the best part: you can preload photos before it even ships. The second she opens it, her favorites are already playing. Zero setup stress for her. Their app makes the whole process effortless. I can send a photo straight from my camera roll, and she can even text photos directly to the frame. Unlimited storage, no fees, and nothing to figure out. Make Mother's Day unforgettable with Aura Frames. Rated #1 by Wirecutter. You can save on the perfect gift for mom by visiting auraframes.com. For a limited time, listeners get $25 off the best-selling Carver mat frame with code SheGotSports. That is auraframes.com, promo code SheGotSports. Mention us at checkout to support the show. Terms and conditions apply. Week 2 of his rookie year, he earned his first NFL start. By season's end, he had 127 tackles, led the Bengals' defense, and started 14 games. Then came 2013. In his sophomore NFL season, Vontaze Burfict racked up 171 combined tackles, leading the entire league and becoming the first Bengals linebacker to make the Pro Bowl since 1976. But, and there is always a catch here, the dirty play was already starting to resurface. Once the switch flipped, it stayed on. See, people do not realize this about Vontaze Burfict's career. It was not just 2 or 3 bad mistakes that sank him. It was a vicious pattern that lasted 6 years. Let's look closer, because once you see what he did to opponents, you understand why the NFL had to banish him. It starts in 2013. Week 3, Bengals versus Packers. In that single game, Burfict gets tagged with 2 fines. First, $10,000 for a low blow on Ryan Taylor. Then, $21,000 more for headhunting James Jones. In one single afternoon, that is $31,000 in penalties. 2 fines, 1 game. He had been in the league barely a year. 3 weeks later, Cincinnati battles the Bills, and he yanks Fred Jackson by the face mask. Another fine. 2 weeks later, the Bengals take on the Jets, and he spears Stephen Hill with the crown of his helmet. Another flagrant hit. Another fine, $21,000 more. That is 4 major fines in 2013 alone. Despite the flags, the Bengals doubled down on Burfict. In 2014, they gave him a 4-year extension. $19 million was on the table. But by week 6 against the Panthers, Burfict showed everyone his true colors again. He was fined $25,000 for twisting the ankles of Cam Newton and Greg Olsen both times long after the whistle had already blown. 2015. Things spiraled. Week 8 against the Steelers, Burfict leveled Le'Veon Bell so hard he tore his MCL, ending the star running back season. 6 weeks later, Pittsburgh returns for the rematch, and Burfict is back for more blood. He picks up 3 separate fines in one game, totaling nearly $70,000. The worst was a low dive at Ben Roethlisberger's knees after the ball was already gone. Afterward, Roethlisberger said he believed Burfict tried to take out his legs on purpose. When does the NFL finally say enough is enough? When you see what he tried to do to Ben, I am looking for him in the parking lot. In week 17, with the ball nowhere near him, Burfict completely blindsided Ravens tight end Max Crosby. He drove his helmet right under Crosby's chin, resulting in a massive $50,000 fine from the league. Believe it or not, everything so far was just the warm-up. Because what happened on January 9th, 2016, at Paul Brown Stadium is the moment that defined Vontaze Burfict's entire legacy. The hit that turned him from a talented star into the most hated man in football. AFC wildcard. Bengals. Steelers. Rivalry at its peak. Bengals lead 16-15 with under a minute left. Pittsburgh is driving. The whole season is on the line. Antonio Brown runs a route over the middle. The pass sails high. Brown is completely exposed and defenseless in the air. Burfict launches himself like a missile, spearing Brown directly in the side of the helmet. Brown was out cold. After that hit, he was never quite the same, on or off the gridiron. He does not care about the brotherhood of the game. He ignores the warnings and ignores the rules. 2 days later, the NFL suspended Burfict for 3 games for repeated, dangerous violations of player safety rules. Then came 2017. Less than a year after his ban, Vontaze was suspended again. this time for his conduct in a preseason game, a game that didn't even matter. He delivered a cheap shot to Chiefs fullback Anthony Sherman when the ball wasn't even close. That move earned him another 3-game suspension from the commissioner. And you guessed it, once that suspension ended, Burfict went right back to his violent ways. By his 3rd game back, he was fined $12,000 for kicking Steelers fullback Roosevelt Nix. Only 3 weeks after that hit, he got tossed from a game for the first time ever for touching an official. Then, karma finally came for Burfict in the most brutal way possible. During Monday Night Football against the Steelers, rookie receiver Juju Smith-Schuster leveled him with a vicious blindside block. As he lay there, Juju stood over him, taunting the veteran. Burfict suffered a concussion and left the field on a cart. Lord have mercy. If Vontaze Burfict ever gets the chance to put his hands on this guy, I am sending my condolences early. Then, Vontaze got suspended again to start the 2018 season. This time, for violating the league performance-enhancing drug policy. 2 games into his return, he was fined $112,000 for hits on James Conner and Antonio Brown. After that hit sidelined Antonio Brown, Burfict pointed right at Juju Smith-Schuster and said, "You are next." That was the end. After 7 years of this chaos, the Bengals finally had enough. Cincinnati cut him loose in March 2019. Over 7 years in Cincinnati, Vontaze racked up $4 million in fines and missed 10 games due to suspensions. Even with that history, one team was still willing to take a massive gamble. A day after his release, the Raiders signed him to a $5 million deal and inexplicably named him a team captain. But just weeks into the season, Vontaze made a move that forced the league to basically end his NFL career for good. Playing the Colts, Burfict delivered a sickening helmet-to-helmet hit on tight end Jack Doyle. After a quick review, officials ejected Burfict. As he headed to the locker room, he blew kisses to the crowd. The following day, the league suspended him for 12 games. It was the longest on-field suspension in NFL history. By 2020, his suspension was up, and Burfict tried to make a comeback. No one would sign him. Honestly, that was the right call. Vontaze Burfict was a liability whose style of play put lives at risk. If you want to hear about the best receiver in football who suddenly vanished from the league, watch this video right here.